Good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to Myanmar TESOL Teacher Support Programs. Myanmar TESOL Association is a non-profit organization working towards quality professional practices in English language education by organizing continuous professional development. Events such as seminars, webinars, lectures, training courses, and other appropriate activities for English language teachers. Before we dive into the main content of today, let's take a moment to cover some essential housekeeping items. These tips will ensure a smooth and productive experience for all of us. This section will take about an hour. The whole session will be recorded, and the recording will be uploaded to our Myanmar TESOL YouTube channel. During the section, the participants are kindly requested to mute yourself. We will allocate time for questions and answers. Feel free to ask during Q&A section by using the chat or raising your hand to participate. Towards the end of the webinar, we will share the evaluation form for the analysis and for your e-certificates as well, which will be released during 2 weeks working time. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Sia Wiyanto. Sia Wiyanto is a professional and passionate ELT certified teacher who is helping learners to develop their English 4 skills along with 21st century skills. He's currently working as a part-time lecturer at the Space Language Academy and doing his MA thesis on English as a lingua franca at King Mongkut's University of Technology, Thonburi. Over the past 2 years, he was an IELTS Support Youth Curriculum Developer as an English supplementary course for high school students sponsored by the British Council and Zigua Academy. Moreover, he developed the IT skills curriculum of the ICT for Educators project. His primary interests are English language teaching, corpus linguistics, educational technology, and English as a lingua franca. That he is trying to contribute his knowledge to the Myanmar TESOL and ELT community through articles, blogs, and seminars. May I now welcome Sia Wiyanto. Sia, the floor is yours.
So thank you so much, MMT. So first of all, I'm feel so privileged to be here as a presenter at MMT. So one of the seminar presenters. So good evening or good morning or good afternoon where you are right now. I'm Wei and so currently I'm a part-time lecturer online, of course, but on the other hand, I'm doing my master thesis at one of the universities in Thailand. So today I think a lot of you have already seen the poster that the TPACK, all right? So the word is like TP. I'm gonna type a little bit on chat in the chat box. So so TPACK. First of all, you might be thinking that word is very, very huge. It's kind of like a fascinating theory to do a lot of big research. You might be thinking in this way, but actually no. It's a kind of like a perfect ruler to measure your lessons, curriculum, or wherever you are dealing with any types or any principles of teaching. So you can measure your standardization you can measure your lesson as a standardized ruler with that framework. This is what I'm going to talk. But as an English language teacher, so my examples and my theoretical backgrounds will be related to English language teaching. However, as long as you are a teacher, especially for the language or subjects, you can really apply that one to reflect yourself that if it is appropriate for the 21st century learners. All right. So this is the complete title for this seminar today. So TPACK model. So TPACK model is very simple. Why TPACK model? And you will also see another keyword, 21st century English learners. So I use the word 21st century because we are living right now in 2024. So a lot of AI tools and a lot of technologies are advancing every single second. And how our teachers can cope with that kind of development, or how we can use them in our education at different educational settings, especially in our classrooms. So today, first of all, as I'm a teacher, so I won't be talking to you straight away. So you have to participate in some of the programs and activities, all right? So you don't need to turn on the camera, but you have to use your microphones or maybe your emoji, thumb up, or raise hand, or type some answer in the chat. Finally, you have to use your device. Now you are using, especially laptops or phone, doesn't matter. So you have to scan with your camera if you're using laptop, or I will drop you a link while you are accessing this one on Zoom phone. So you can click that link and you have to do some activities. So if it is okay with those kind of activity, you can say yes in the Zoom chat box. Okay, great. Thank you. Or if you can't hear my voice because of my connection, so you can feel free to stop me and ask me to repeat. Okay, thank you for your responses. So first of all, I would like to talk about the technology knowledge. So you all know the technology, right? So now you are using phone, Zoom, presentation PowerPoint, or Canva, or Google. Those belong to technology. So what exactly the technology knowledge? This is what I'm going to explore for the first step. So please scan this link, or you can, I will send the link here in the chat. Wait a second. Okay. So you will also see a link in the Zoom chat. So please access that website and write down all the technology or gadgets you have used over the last 2 weeks, especially in your classroom. If you have any problem with accessing that website, let me know. Okay, one participant said Google. Yes, I can see all of yours. So if you finish typing, you just submit or press enter on your computer keyboard. Any other? Okay, yes. Zoom, Canva, Google. Okay, Microsoft Teams. Oh, you can open the. So if you can open the link, you can tell, or you can send the answers in the chat. Okay, interesting. Kahoot, that's it. Zoom, Microsoft. Okay. Now, if you're okay, so please take a look at my screen. I just shared a new one. So these are your answers that you just submitted recently. So a lot of you use laptop, Canva, Google, Teams, or here I also said Bambuser, Kahoot. All these things are technologies. And some of them are AI generated, AI powered, like Canva. So now you all know the technology. Okay, that's it. So we have a technology or a gadget in our hand. So that won't be enough in our classroom. That's why they said that technology knowledge means we have a kind of comprehension to understand how to use those kind of materials in our classroom. That's it. We don't think about further steps yet. First, if you have a cell phone or a laptop, you must know, or at least you need to know how to operate, how to turn on the phone or laptop properly, or projector or printer. This is what we call technology knowledge. So in theory, they say that TK, something like that, technology knowledge. So you all have, I truly believe you all have really, really strong technology knowledge at our background, depending on where you are, or depending on the class you are teaching right now, you are already familiar, all right? And I also believe, so last day, so it means you know the technology. Now we just move to the pedagogical knowledge. So pedagogical knowledge is very similar to a kind of educational theories. So this time, I'm gonna move to another website. Again, please scan this website and choose 5 methodologies you have used in your classroom over the last 2 weeks. So I'm sorry because all these things are ELT related methodologies, but if you are from other teaching principles, you can add your ideas on others category. All right. So I'll give you a couple of minutes because it takes time. And if you have any problem with the links, please let me know. We'll send the link just a moment. So this is the new link, yes. If you can find your certified answer, you can add as others. Or if you have any further question with those methodologies, you can discuss with me. Okay, thank you. Some of you sent on Zoom. Very interesting, yeah. All right, so let me change the screen for a second. So you can see the live result of all of your voting. So apparently, without needless to say, communicative language teaching is at the top, right? Because a lot of you, I mean, not a lot of, almost all of you are already familiar with that. Okay, no more result is popping up. So everyone, if you look at my screen, you will see that these are the different methodologies and approaches in our English language classroom. So according to this result, I also believe that you all have a kind of pedagogical knowledge depending on what kind of lesson or what kind of textbook you are teaching. All right, so it also depends on the textbook and learning objectives, of course. It doesn't need to have a communicative language teaching all the way. So it depends on where you are and who are your learners. You have to use those kind of different methodologies. So if I go back to this, according to your voting result, you all have a strong pedagogical knowledge depending on the subject or language you are teaching right now. So this is a kind of is a theory for pedagogical knowledge. So teachers have a deep understanding on their education goals and their school values or their nation's school education admissions values and their students' learning process, classroom material, strategies, management, seating plan, assessments, of course. So everything, so that teacher has a very deep understanding on those pieces of knowledge depending on it, regardless of the country, regardless of the subject you are teaching. So that kind of knowledge is called pedagogical knowledge. Okay, now so far we got two pieces of knowledge, technology knowledge and pedagogical knowledge. Oh, I have already known that. Yes, you have already known. That's why I have already told you this framework is not a it's not a rocket science, all right? And so overall, it means you know the methods, you know the techniques, you know the approaches. So now let's move to content. Again, content is even easier than the two previous pieces of knowledge, right? So in our classroom, we have to follow the content or the specific topic we want to contribute to them, right? So this time, what content have you taught to your learners over the last week? Just type at the Zoom, in the Zoom chat here. So because there are a huge variety of topics and content you are teaching currently. So these are my examples. All right, so you can send countless, unlimited contents that you are dealing with. Please send your answer. Culture, very good. Lifestyle, interests. Yes. Family, climate, food, holiday. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Shopping. I love it. Climate change. Today is very important right now. Animals. Yes. Job. Family, holiday, tourism. Moving from home. Very interesting. Finance. Electricity. Self-respect and ego. These are really, really fantastic topics. Education, mental, yes. So everyone, you can learn from each other by just taking a look at the chat list here. So you will see a bunch of ideas on your ELT settings, but we can put all the topics into our ELT settings. Yes. Mobile apps. Exactly. So I couldn't read all the chat, other conversations, so I'm sorry about that. But I've seen all of them. Yeah. So now look at this chat. So all of you have a really diverse and yes, really exciting and diverse topics to teach your students. Yes, I know it can be dependent on it can be diverse on what kind of learners they are, what kind of school you are teaching at, and what kind of curriculum you are using. So regardless of those differences, you all have a really strong and impactful content to put in our language teaching. So we all have three things right now. The first one is the technology. Second one is pedagogy. And the last one is the content. So we all have three pieces of knowledge in our hands. Now there comes a problem. How do we combine in a perfect shape in our classroom? That's what I'm going to discuss. So you all have really good and strong knowledge and experiences to deal with the different types of student and different type of textbook. But in terms of 21st century demands in our society, how can we blend these three pieces into a perfect shape? And how can we teach them to survive or to live their life in the 21st century by using our language, by using our taught language in our classroom? That's what I'm going to discuss right now. So according to the theories of content, it's like teachers know everything about the content, everything about the textbooks and culture, happenings in our countries or around the world. So they know the very details of specific matters and which are very important for our teaching learning principles in different academic settings. For example, you are now, some of you can be from preschools, so you know how their hands move, their hands anatomy inside the bones. So this was the preschool level. But if you are from some kind of like higher education, you know how to give the seminar in public. You know what kind of topics are more relevant to general audience. These kinds of varieties are under the topics of content knowledge. So it doesn't. So regardless of the different academic settings, so if you know the very detail of what you are doing right now, so that's your content knowledge. All right. So far, if you miss some point of my explanation, or if you didn't hear because of the noises, so you can feel free to ask me, because I'm going to move next step. Seems like no questions. Great. So overall, you know what to teach. That's it. Content knowledge, you know exactly what to teach. So now let's choose this topic. This topic is more like, it can be air pollution, or it can be the energy, or it can be the nuclear. So we can assume, let's say it's a kind of like energy. So we call energy is what kind of knowledge? technology or pedagogy or content? Can you type the answers in the chat? Energy. Yes, right? So we got the content. Now, let's combine with the pedagogy. Okay, today in my English language communicative classroom, I'm going to teach under the topic energy. But how? That's the most important thing. So we need to combine that content with the relevant pedagogy. So these are the very popular one. I mean, these are not the best, but these are the popular one to teach that kind of topics. So like project-based, problem-based, or story-based, or content-based, or task-based. Everything can happen. So just an example. So I have to combine these two as a perfect example, perfect framework. This is we call pedagogical content knowledge. So for energy, that kind of energy topic, I should combine with project-based. But what about culture? Do you really think combining the culture and project-based language will be impactful to learn something in our language classroom? Or story-based or history-based system will be more suitable to teach the culture? Or if the students are too young, they are the very young learner, age around 7, 8, 9, 10, in order to teach them about the energy, maybe probably project-based could be better, or depending on the age, like teenagers, probably problem-solving, problem-based solution, problem-based learning could be better for them. Again, it depends on your school's missions, visions, and objectives. So that kind of perfect combination between content and pedagogy is called pedagogical content knowledge. So now you can start thinking about your previous or your past experiences. So did you combine something like that as a perfect example or a relevant example? Like, okay, I'm going to talk about agriculture. What kind of specific methodologies or approaches did you use? Just think about yourself. Or did you miss something? Or if you missed something, now you won't miss because of this. So you know that that kind of specific content had a certain pedagogy depending on the certain or specific learners. The theory is just for the, a formality, so you don't need to read a very single detail. So it's like that. So if you can combine these two things in an effective way, the learner can learn better. Right? So this is we call pedagogical content knowledge. So again, so this is not only for the English language classroom setting. So it can also have a huge impact on different, because in fact it's for the education, one of the education theories. So that kind of TPACK can be even more variety and more effective in other principles like medicine, engineering, or robotic programming, because everything is related to the 21st century technology. So so even the English language teaching setting is not in the top row. So in the top row, maybe probably the STEM fields education, especially if you are teaching physics or mathematics or science. That TPACK is so valuable for your lesson reflection. So now imagine that I'm going to teach them the vocabulary. Now, okay, I can teach them vocabulary in many different ways in the classroom. Let's say in the physical classroom. Now I've got 4 types of material: online dictionary, printed worksheet, online vocabulary game, fill in the blank in the textbook. Everything here is very useful for their certain purposes, right? But if I'm, according to my topic, 21st century, so they need to work together, they need to communicate together, they need to be familiar with the technology. So probably these 2 things should be prioritized in my classroom. So online vocabulary, like who you all know that Quizlet, online dictionary, or other kind of dictionary software, which are certified by the big universities like Cambridge or Oxford, etc. So those kind of technology blended in our specific content is called technological content knowledge. Again, certain content can be taught by the aids or technology, but some contents, according as when it comes to when you have a kind of like varieties of classes and topics, you will see that some topics cannot be taught by means of a lot of technological aids. It doesn't matter in your Zoom classroom or in the physical class, it doesn't matter. But it matters with the content. Certain contents can be ran by the advanced technology, but some not. So you need to be very careful with what kind of technological things or websites or the aids can be suitable with what kind of content. All right, this is we call technological content knowledge. So this is just a vocabulary about something. So if I teach them about sports, the topic is sport, the content is sport. So it might be, especially reading, it might be challenging to use technological stuff because I'm not teaching about the vocabulary, I'm teaching about reading. Reading is a kind of skill development. So instead of putting them a lot of fancy technology in the class, maybe I use only one or two things to let them read very carefully, to focus on certain kind of subtopics, or to focus on their research. Maybe they can use the websites or the internet or AI. So that kind of technological blended in our lesson is called technological content knowledge. Again, so it also depends on the content you are teaching, but keep in mind that everything can be blended. Every content can be blended with technology. That's the one thing. So another one is like this. This is one of the examples in my classroom. So this is the textbook I'm using in my current institution. So you will see that there are two topics, writing skills and writing tasks and task preparation and task performance. If I show my student like this, even in the classroom or in the Zoom class, you might feel that, oh, if you are not very attentive, you might be wondering, oh, what exercise am I doing? 3A, B, 3E, or 3F, or 4A, or teacher is doing something else. So students might be wondering, students might be confused what specific exercise they are doing. Even though students are very attentive, they might probably look at the follow-up exercises and their attention might switch to that kind of topic. They might switch from the topic the teacher is teaching. For example, oh, our teacher is teaching this, so I have to move to writing very soon. Come on, I don't want to write. That kind of attention span can be shorter because of that kind of layout when you present like this. So why can't I separate them into different slides like this? And I will show it one after another so that their attention span will be very focused. Their attention will be very focused on particular topic I'm sharing, I'm projecting, so that their attention span will be a little bit longer, especially that kind of boring writing lessons. So that kind of layout can change into different settings by the use of technology. That kind of thing is called technological pedagogical knowledge. Because of the use of technology, the PowerPoint, just simple 2 PowerPoint slides, the pedagogy, the student attention, student motivation can change, can be improved by just using the PowerPoint slides. So a lot of teachers, I've noticed that a lot of teachers use the PowerPoint for some kind of like presentation. But what if we can make all the textbook into the PowerPoint slide and we project on the screen or in our Zoom share screen so that their attention won't switch to any other things except from the things we are sharing, teachers are sharing. That kind of technique derived from the technology, the use of technology. So you can use other kind of technology like the Canva or Google Sheet, Google Slides, or PowerPoint presentation, or video, whatever you use, as long as the technology help your pedagogical aspect improved or even better, that kind of knowledge is called technological pedagogical knowledge. So far we have got 3 other combinations like technology and pedagogy, technology and content, something like that. So this is a theory. Now, this is the final one. So technology, TPACK, technological, pedagogical, content knowledge. Oh my God, are we going to combine all these 4 things together? Yes. So you just take a look at this by yourself for a minute. So you can see that in the very middle, all the things, all the pieces of knowledge lapse, right? So technology, so you have to be competent with technology, understanding how to use the technology properly. You need to know the strong background of teaching methodology, pedagogy. You need to know the content that you are dealing with. That kind of perfect combination between these three pieces is called TPCK. So you might be wondering, okay, my classroom won't be perfect according to this TPACK model. Yes, that's the implication for this model. This model say your classroom doesn't need to have TPACK all the 365 days. But as long as if you can handle at least three pieces like pedagogical or content, or technological and content, or pedagogical and technology. If you can, as long as you can combine as much as you can, your classroom will have a huge positive impact on the 21st century learner. That's what the theorists and researchers and the publications say in this way. So yes, if you can stay right here in the middle, that's the best classroom they will ever, your student will ever experience in their lives. However, it is so difficult, it is so challenging to have right center in the middle, especially in Myanmar. We have got a lot of struggles in terms of, if I'm not mistaken, pedagogical and technological. That can be troublesome for us because like a lot of you don't have a proper electricity or the internet access or the proper gadgets. And you have to struggle with your limited resources. And I'm really aware of that. And also pedagogical, only if you have to pay certain amount of fees to attend the professional development courses, you will come to know that kind of pedagogical knowledge. Yes, these things are limited in Myanmar. But if you don't stop your learning on these both things, yes, your classroom will be more effective to the 21st century. As your classroom can turn out those students to be the 21st century citizens. There are a lot of research says like that. So, for example, now I have got a topic about wildlife reading. So I have got multiple resources and technologies, and I've got certain methods. So if my classroom is right in the middle, according to TPACK model, so it will be like this. So maybe text-based learning, and they will be overlapping each other. I use not only the textbook, but also the external resources from reliable and trusted database like WWF, National Geographic, TED, because all these things are related to technology and content. And also we cannot neglect the use of AI today, right? And we have to use a lot of like PowerPoints for the visual projections and resources and our certain appropriate methods to blend them perfectly. That kind of combination is called TPACK. Again, so if you can't teach if your lesson can't fit into the TPACK model, that's really impossible. So you don't need to worry about that, but try at least maybe once a month, or maybe the content you are the most confident at, or the types of methodology. Some teachers, they are really confident at a certain methodology. So why don't you give it a shot for that kind of the most confident things you are dealing in your daily teaching. So these are all about the TPACK. So why TPACK is so important for our 21st century learner? Because I have read this quote in one of the papers. So if we teach today's students as we taught yesterday's, we just rob them of tomorrow. That's really, so wherever I try to think of a lesson or content, the first one I come up with, the code is this. Because like, so, okay, so I have a good example at my school. So my school used a textbook from 2017 or something like that. And so some things need to be known. The school is now keep updating. But if I didn't update the lesson content, the student might probably acquire the wrong or false information. For example, like so in the textbook they say there are 4 northern white rhinos in the world. That textbook is from probably around 2010 or 2012. But today, there are only 2 female northern rhino in the world. So students learned that, oh, we got 4 northern white rhinos in Africa, in Sudan. So, okay, but when he or she presented the false information or maybe out-of-date information to the public, so that could be the problem for both society and for him. So he might probably maybe lose belief in the education or the teachers or the courses. So that kind of information need to be updated especially under the content. So that kind of things can be analyzed in terms of TPACK because we have to teach them as today. That's it. So English teaching, we all know that we can't neglect the content. We just give them the grammar book and read out loud, learn by head, do something like, no, we don't do this anymore today. So we give them grammar and a specific thing or and a specific topic or the content. That content also should be updated along with the 21st century information. So this is the 21st century skills, like there are 4 C's. I think a lot of you are already familiar with that. But we also have other sub-skills about the global citizen or like environmental, something like that. But more importantly, these 4 C's, like communication, they learn the language to communicate. If they stay alone, they don't even need the language. That's it. So they learn the language because they need to communicate with somebody or in the society. So they have to use the language to collaborate at their work or society. And after that, as long as their language skills develop, they have to think critically on what is right or wrong. Or finally, if they have a certain knowledge about their society or their workplace or the academic, they have to create something different or something updated. So that kind of 4 C's are so important. And a lot of scholars and educators believe that 4 C's can be nurtured even in our language classroom. So we don't need to think further for the other principles of teaching. We don't need to say about that. We don't have to say about that. Even in our language classroom, we can promote their 4 C's if you can handle with the TPACK model. That's what they believe. And this is one of the examples from 2021 research. So, for example, your students come to your classroom because they want to communicate tomorrow. They want to collaborate, they want to get jobs, better jobs, they want to earn more money in their future. So literally, we are now preparing for their tomorrow, preparing for their future. So if our knowledge about content, knowledge for technology, and the pedagogy seems out of date, so that won't be suitable for as a 21st century learner. So that's why, so whatever you teach, wherever you're trying to draw or design a syllabus or a lesson plan, so try to reflect with TPACK, okay, what am I missing now? Is really my content updated? Is really my technology really useful? Now, a lot of you already know about the AI. So if you don't talk about AI, or maybe probably you are not aware of AI, there could be some things in your classroom. The first one is students who knows AI will take over your power. They can cheat in the exam, test, everything, right? Or if you don't teach them how to use AI, they will not know. For those who don't know, they won't know from your classroom. And in their reality, they have to teach, they have to learn them again from other places. In fact, in the first place, we could have taught them how to use the AI in very ethical way, and very appropriate way. So that kind of things should be updated every single day if you are aware of your lessons seems out of date or not relevant to the 21st century setting, something like that. So I also believe a lot of you have a kind of like communication and collaboration case in your classroom because, okay, discuss with your friend. Okay, present your idea. Okay, do it together, teamwork, project. I also believe that communication and collaboration are not very serious, are not, how should I put it? Maybe are not a things to talk seriously. Maybe how about the critical thinking or creativity? Do you really allow them to think critically or think from the outer box? Or do you really let them do project creatively? Or you let them do by themselves everything? That kind of thing you should reflect. I think 2 months ago, I said I'm going to also the reflective thinking in our classroom setting, right? So that kind of similar way. So you have to rethink or you have to relearn about the content, technology, and pedagogy in our classroom so that you can prepare for the 21st century learners who can will survive in the 21st centuries. So this is the end of my presentation. So I don't want to talk very much. So yes, questions and discussions are warmly welcome to from all of you. Yes. Or if you are not comfortable, you can send me privately. That's perfectly okay.
Yes, yeah. As there isn't anyone yet who would like to raise questions, may I ask a question? It's just out of my curiosity. Yes, your presentation is great, and you mentioned the blend of 4 elements to teach in the classroom. Okay, the elements, technology, pedagogy, and content and knowledge. So my question is there the right proportion of each element to have a perfect mix for a good lesson?
That's what the researchers stay discovering that which portion is the most impactful in our language classroom. Language class. I don't know about the other principle. So, but according to them, so like I previously, just a minute. Recording. Before, so their implication is you don't need to have here for all day for all the single lesson, but as long as if you're trying to push your boundary to keep learning and keep combining in perfect way after careful analysis and assessment and feedback, peer check, something like that, peer check, peer observation. So yes, you can develop to get into the middle day by day. They also suggest like that. But personally, I believe if we can promote technological and pedagogical knowledge, if you don't have enough time, if you have to choose one side, so I would choose this one because like we don't need to worry about content because contents are always very abundant, right? So we can see content everywhere. I can't find any content. I just pick up a random textbook from Cambridge or Oxford. I can use it as a content. The things I need is technological perspective and pedagogical perspective. For me, if I don't have enough time, I have to survive with only one thing, so I would choose this side.
Thank you. Because I have some concern. Okay, just my personal again. I'm not a tech savvy person. I have some kind of technophobia, and I always try to stay away from technology. My technological knowledge is just minimal level, so I sometimes wonder that I will be left behind in this advancing world when I don't have as much knowledge as the others in the technological matters. So in this case, what are your suggestions to someone like me, people who are not so tech savvy?
Yes, so I got that kind of feedback 2 years ago when I did the One CDC for Future Education Technology project. So I want to talk about a little bit about the project. Project is funded by the United States government. So I didn't draw all the project. So in the project, so we contributed them with the education related technology. It's not like about this kind of big theory. So we give them the very instant tutorial to be ready enough to use in their classroom. So for example, how to type PowerPoint, how to use PowerPoint, how to use Canva, how to edit very simple video, how to create Excel, how to calculate Excel formula, something like that. So when I taught, I designed all the syllabus from them for 2 months. The course took 2 months, and I also was a lecturer there. So I got some feedback that they didn't know, and they didn't know that it was so easy. So the first thing is maybe probably teacher, maybe if somebody is afraid of that, maybe didn't have a chance to give a shot, instead that person got a lot of struggles with that kind of not having knowledge, that kind of knowledge. So maybe if a person can learn from the very simple step by step. So for example, if you can afford a laptop, you can try Google document on your phone. Not everyone has phone, that's why you are here. So you don't know the features of Microsoft Word because you have to pay on your laptop, something like that. So on your phone, on your smartphone, Android phone, you can download Google document. So you can learn a lot of features about how the word processor works. You can also try some Google slides from their ready-made instant background and format. So that kind of thing is very comfortable, especially for the very beginner level or very not familiar with the technology. Now today, like AI, so AI got that. I think AI is free for ChatGPT, so you can chat, just need to download and you don't need to pay for that, regardless of some limitation. But so I think you can try from the very, very basic features. Yes. I think somebody raised your hand.
Yes, your hand. Sir, your hand. Okay, you can have your mic on and talk to us directly, sir.
Okay, so good evening, Sia.
Yes.
I'm Johan, currently working as a freelance English teacher for adult as well as a university student.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your insightful and precious deliveries. My questions that I would like to raise up is there any measurement tool or technique which can help me to assess whether I'm effectively using this TPACK model? And on top of that, would you mind sharing assessment methods to trace the student progress? Thank you.
Yes, I didn't prepare for the assessment because it is too deep because it's just like today is a claims, but I can explain a little bit. So they have got some kind of like assessment, but their assessment are first thing is peer observation and peer reviewed. So peer observation means somebody who is really expert at TPACK model. So that teacher jump into your class and observe, and they will assess in terms of this model. So they will not observe any other experts, just focus on this, all right? So that kind of thing is very popular because when they are in the science field, and medical science field, when somebody is using, if somebody is using TPACK or not, they use the same way because they just observe and they talk. For example, that professor is using video as a teaching aid. So that kind of technology +1. So pedagogy is just not listen, discuss, and talk. Pedagogy is kind of like brainstorming, debating, and more simulating. So pedagogy plus. And content is right in the middle or right in the level of their assigned curriculum, so plus. So that kind of thing happen in their assessment. So assessment is kind of like through most of the paper, as far as I read, through observations. So observation. So yeah, if you want to know more about, I can send you some kind of papers that they have done some kind of research privately. So yeah, if you want to know, as a freelancer, I know so you may not have a kind of mentor, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe you can do your own reflective teaching. I think did you attend 2 months ago? Say one.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you can do exactly the same way. Yes. Okay. So one of the question probably is.
Thank you, Sia.
You're most welcome. Can we use TPACK lower level adult age lower level adult age from 45 or from never direct translation? Direct translation, yes. So if you use direct translation method, like it's kind of like, so you read and you spell the word. I'm sorry, you read and you tell the meaning. Yes, you can use. So direct translation is good for that kind of academic, like kind of basic academic teaching. So now you are now focusing on direct translation pedagogy. Now, what kind of content are you teaching them? It's about food, about maybe direct teaching can be kind of like literature, stuff like that. So you need to focus on that kind of specific content and what kind of technology. Technology you don't need to think about very seriously. You don't need to think very seriously. Maybe if you are using projector, yes, you are using a gadget. Or you don't use anything, but you print them by yourself out. So you just use the printer. So you create it on your Microsoft Word. Yeah, you just use the technology for your lesson preparation. So now you have got technological aspect, pedagogical aspect, and content aspect. But so like the right translation, I'm not saying it's old. So it's somehow good for the academic teaching like that. So how much impact have you discovered in their learning progress? So you can also measure and assess and do regular assessment so that you will be very good at pedagogical and content knowledge, something like that.
Thank you,
I can-
Sia. Thank you.
Yes.
No, actually, they are talking about,
yeah,
they
yes.
are asking
About the-
that it is another technical issue
Yes.
we are facing here. Okay, the low internet connectivity.
Yes.
And we
I
can
understand.
send out the evaluation form for them to fill in so that we can send out the certificate. But some people can't open it and download it and fill it in. But some people have done it. So it means the link is working. It is the link on the other side. Yeah, we'll wait until everybody has finished. Okay, don't worry about this. So Sia, thank you very much. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so here's one more
yes.
question. Teacher
Yes.
Dwayne Lee.
Yes.
Dwayne.
First of all, Saya, thank you very much for sharing.
Yes.
And I would like to know that how can we improve our technological knowledge? Because we have challenge in our country. Yes.
Yes.
If you can share, yes. Thank you.
Yes, so
Saya.
I think I have to introduce a little bit. So just start from the very small one. So like somebody gives me a MacBook Pro, Apple, now I'm not using Apple. I cannot use it because I don't even know which key is Alt, which key is Control. I'm telling you the honest answer. So, but as long if I'm using for a certain period of time, maybe for 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on my interest and excitement, I can be familiar with that. So the first thing is technology. If we say technology is challenging, yes, the first thing is, do we have enough resources? If we don't have enough resources, that's another problem. So we have to go for another resource or trying to get until you get it, trying to explore. For example, in Myanmar, some of the technology can be used. AI. Some AI website we can use with Myanmar location. So we use VPN. This means we're trying to overcome the struggles, all right? Or, okay, can we use different similar AI programs that is available in Myanmar? So that's another option. You have to decide two things. So when we talk about technology, it doesn't need to be advanced, but how we use a certain existing simple technology in a classroom. Like I say, some class very budget limited classroom, you won't even have a projector. But without using projector, what kind of gadgets can you use? Or maybe you can, if you have a laptop, you can even show the screen to your students if they are not in a huge amount, maybe 5 or 6 students, you can simply show your laptop. Or even you are using speaker for their better audio stuff, now you are using the technology. So back in 2019, when I used to volunteer. I used to be a volunteer at the monastery education school at the foot of the Jaitio mountain. So I was so young at the time, very energetic. I thought that I could implement all the technology in their class. So I brought everything because it was 3 months long. So I brought everything there. But there, they didn't even have electricity at that time. So they have to use a generator to run the light. So, okay, so there comes in another struggle. So if I can use my laptop or projector, what else I can do? That's a kind of like, it can promote our problem solving skill as well. So, okay, but I can still use my speaker with my laptop. That's great. I cannot use my projector. I cannot use my other kind of CD or something like that. So, okay, but what do they have? So they have phone okay, so 5 students, 1 for something like that, kind of like management thing. So I have to struggle if I have a really strong desire. Like my dad is like nearly 60. So before COVID-19, he didn't even use Android phone very properly. You wouldn't believe that he just changed his keypad phone from keypad phone to Android in 2016 or something like that. So before that, he didn't use. So he was so struggle with that kind of technology when it came to COVID period, because he also a teacher as well. So yes, he survived because of my age and because of his effort. So when it comes like you must do that without technology, you will not get in. So at that time, I have to learn that. That's the only struggle, yes, in Myanmar, because I know that field. Yes. Yes. But if you
Great,
still have
sir.
any struggle, any problem with the technology, you can privately ask me on my page. Like I think Auntie Chem maybe shared one of my posts 2 days ago. So you can contact me on my messenger and I will, yes. I'll be, most of the time I'm trying to be ready for the teachers, local teachers, yes. Yes, another question, yes.
Yes, yeah. First of all, I would like to thanks for your incredible and fabulous presentation. And I'm also a big fan on your for your Facebook page. I
Thank you.
give my end. And it was really helpful for me because I'm also a freelancer and I'm state learning. My problem and my difficulty in teaching is the pedagogical knowledge. When I attend your seminar, I talk that yes, I'm very weak in pedagogical knowledge. Yeah, that's why. How can I improve? And where is there any reliable website or a book
Yes.
to improve my pedagogical knowledge?
Pedagogical. Yes.
Pedagogical
Yes.
knowledge.
So now I just came up with some new idea, fresh idea. So I will put some useful resources in the PowerPoint PDF version. So I'm going to send the chamber, but it may take 2 or 3 days because I have to rearrange and format into PDF format. And I will put some useful link to study about education, very simple education theory, and anything about methodology in English, and also useful technology. Yes, I can send you along with the link at the last page of the PDF. Yes. Yes. Yes, Winkle, go.
Yes, sir. And I'm really happy to listen to your lecture and attend to it. Thank you. And
Yeah.
I want to just one question. In English language teaching, also many teachers encourage also many teacher educators encourage teachers to share 21st century knowledge and skills. But how can we balance our language training against this knowledge sharing in our class?
So that's a really great question. That's what I want to say in terms of contents and pedagogy. And let me mute you a little bit. So that's the reason I did that presentation, because I have a lot of knowledge, content knowledge. I just give hey, just read, learn. That's not how the education works. So we need to combine with the use of technology and the perfect pedagogy. So that's why pedagogy is important, like one of your teachers concerned. So we have got the energy content or maybe K-pop. So all the students, if you give them a piece of information about K-pop, they will read it and they will participate. You don't even need pedagogy because of their strong motivation. But our teaching we need to combine or blend it with the relevant pedagogy. Okay, I will let them discuss first, or I will let them explore by themselves first. I will let them guess, or maybe, okay, I will let them predict about the future K-pop. So these are the very simple steps in our lesson. So we have got the content like 21st century skills. You have to do this, you have to do that, but you have to combine with the pedagogy. That's how the English language teaching works. Yes. So yes, that's why you need to combine, right? So today is the lecture how to combine pedagogy and content, because I just give you a glimpse. All right. So I cannot go very deeper because I get bored maybe.
Thank you, sir.
You're
And
welcome.
also, one of our teacher educators said that we need to be aware of the trends in 21st century
Yes,
because people are interested in common trends and trending topics
that's right.
in the global affairs and in the global culture.
Exactly.
So how, in your opinion, to what degree is it important to be aware of common trends? Because sometimes I'm a little bit unaware of common trends, and I'm not interested in what's trending in the world and
Yeah.
this happens to be sometimes.
Yeah, that's another issue, like what kind of content you must have for, like maybe if you give yourself some maybe 4 or 5 minutes to explore BBC World English or I mean some kind of reliable written English or English written media for your language reading or development, so you can learn something updated. That's the best way you can do by just reading. Or if you still don't have time, you can listen to some podcasts. I mean, podcasts not that very updated, but you can learn the BBC. You just type BBC News on YouTube, and they will give you you will see a lot of clips about updates, information and trends in the world. So it is impossible to catch all the single updated things from different perspectives. It is really impossible. So no one is AI, all right? So AI even just run by those kind of websites across the internet. So only the AI can do that. No one can do like this. So it is really impossible. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Seems like no more questions. Yeah. Oh, okay. TV Channing, teacher TV. Yes.
Hello, Xiang. My question is, most of my students are familiar with the technology and they know how to use the PowerPoint well. And the thing is that I have a problem with them. That is, we are doing we are preparing for PowerPoint presentation next week, and now so we are preparing. So at the time, they know how to do the PowerPoints like on Canva, and they are very familiar with technology, but some of them are not very clear with the I feel like they are not very clear with the content.
Yes.
Although that their topic is a, for example, their topic is equality in sport, and
Okay.
that they are talking about the other thing, not very concerned with the topic, not very relate with the topic in their slide, and another thing is that they don't want to read, and they have a problem in searching the information on Google, and they don't want to read, and they don't want to find a lot of information. So how can I help with them? And
So it seems to me that they are lack of, somehow they are lack of certain motivation to proceed that, right? So the first thing is maybe motivation can be because of many things. Like one of them is, yes, they don't know technology, so they can easily get bored. Or that topic is not a thing for them, like sport, something like that. So they don't want to proceed anymore. That could be because of the many reasons. So I cannot think of the very good solution right now, but maybe if you re-clarify the instructions, or maybe the group settings, I mean the group means the group members, like, so for me in my my school's classroom, if I assign them, I'm trying to blend with all sorts of different students that I have observed before that. So maybe the person who is really good at IT, all right, so the first thing we need. So I trying to motivate them to use in collaborative way, like Canva. So if even you have a phone, you can access Canva very quickly. So that kind of things. And so depending on the level, I motivate them with their a kind of like optional topics, like, so it's all about psychology. If I ask them to choose one from two, they will be appreciate this one. But if I say, oh, this one, something happened to my students. So if I believe that they are not that very motivated, I give them two options, but I've already prepared for that. So which one do you like? So they decide in their group and they do that. But these two things are under my content already. So for example, environment, so I say that, okay, you want to do water pollution or air pollution. That's it. If they don't like pollution, but they must choose one thing, so they have to appreciate this one. That's a kind of like small psychology. I just put them in my lesson. Hope it works for you next time, probably. But it depends on the learners and the location you are teaching at. Yes.
Thank you, Sia.
Yes. Okay. Then no more questions.
Yes, yeah. Seems like there's no more
Yes.
questions. Let me say thank you notes to Saya. So firstly, on behalf of all the participants and our Myanmar TESOL team, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Saya Wiyantuk for your time, effort, and great contribution to the professional development of our teachers in Myanmar. And from this webinar, we have gained very useful insight into how to integrate our daily life teaching context with technological, pedagogical, and content knowledge so that our students can achieve their learning goals effectively. Moreover, we all have learned how TPACK model is important when it's come to the 21st century skills that our students really need to survive in this modern world. We'd like to say thank you to the Chennai for your facilitation to have made this event happen to its great success. And our heartfelt thanks go to all these attendees here for your time, presence, and active participation throughout. Last but not the least, we'd like to say thank you to our team members for your time, effort, support, and contribution for our Myanmar TESOL great success and to make every webinar happen every week. Thank you all.
So thank you, everyone. Have a good day.